Welcome back, Hampshire chemistry students. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the goal that is based around the idea of being able to describe the purpose and calculate a titration. Now, we're not going to be talking about a ton of math in today's video. We're going to kind of just be going over how do we set up some kind of things about this word, about this idea of a titration. And a big part of titrations is that we are going to be dropping some bass. So, let's take a look at what the heck we mean when we're talking about a titration. A titration, very simply, is a type of chemical analysis. It is a method of determining the concentration of an unknown acid or base using an indicator. Most of the time, we're going to be dealing with some unknown acids. And we are going to be trying to figure out that unknown with a base solution. So let's talk about some of the things we need about what we're talking about here, right? So I already mentioned a few things we need, but when we're doing a titration, we need some type of unknown. In most cases, we're going to be dealing with an unknown acid solution. In order to figure out this unknown, we need to react it with another chemical. In this case, it's going to be a base. So we're going to be using a base, and we need to know this base's concentration. If we don't know one of them, we have to know the other one in order to figure out the unknown. Now, what we're going to be doing here is we're mainly going to be using the base NaOH, and the way that we measure out this NaOH is with a very specific piece of equipment. That piece of equipment is going to be called a burette. A burette is a French word, I think, and it is a type of glassware. Now, ideally, we would get to use these in chemistry, but unfortunately, that's not how things are going right now. A burette looks a little bit like this. It's this long, skinny boy that sits above a beaker, and the way it works is you got this little nozzle that goes and that allows liquid to fall through. And you can see exactly how much fell through very accurately with one of these pieces of equipment. And if you want to take a look at a video with how these works, you can see a link down in the description, or hopefully a little notation is popping up now to help you link to that video so you can see what it looks like. So a burette is going to be useful. And the last piece of equipment that we're going to need when we're doing a titration, as I mentioned it up here, it's a type of chemical. It's called an indicator. An indicator's job is basically kind of what it sounds like. Like right here, I am indicating this term on our page. Indicate means to point, to find. So we're going to be using this kind of chemical to point out or to find for us when it's fine for us when a titration is done. There are lots and lots of different kinds of indicators. For example, there's one called universal indicator. Ideally, we would do a whole lab around this one. But in this case, we're going to be focusing on probably one of the next most common, and that's going to be called the chemical phenolphthalein. It's a very funky name, but it is a very cool chemical because it indicates what kind of chemical it's in. So, for example, I've got some acid here, and
put your goggles on, Mr. B.
Oh, I heard one of you guys.
Put your gosh darn goggles on.
I think it said, put on your goggles. Right, so I've got a little bit of acid here, and I'm going to put it into my glass. The acid, when it comes in contact with the phenolphthalein, does nothing. That is the point. The phenolphthalein does nothing in acids, but when you have a base, a base looks a little different. When you add a base to it, you get this really cool pink color. This pink says, hey, I'm a base. This is some sodium hydroxide that was sitting in my cup here. So, clear means acid, pink means base. So, what's happening here is that we are reacting these acids and these bases, and we're trying to reach something that's called the equivalence point. The equivalence point, let's get these notes out of the way, is very simply when the amount of acids and bases are equal. Okay, we're trying to make that match and trying to get those two to cancel each other out. Okay, so the basic steps of a titration are pretty straightforward. Okay, we have to have an unknown sample of acid. It could be a lot of things. Normally, if we were in lab, it'd be hydrochloric acid. Okay, we then use a known concentration of base, and they're going to react until they're all neutralized, until they're all canceled. Okay? And then lastly, we would do some calculations in order to determine the concentration of an acid. Okay? Now, again, we're not going to worry about the calculations too much. But let's kind of talk about what's happening here. So right now, I've got in my little dish here a sample of hydrochloric acid. And I'm going to add a little bit of that indicator. Okay? Again, hey, indicator, when I add it to the acid, it should do nothing. Okay, right? Lots of acid in there. It is doing nothing inside there. But let's start to add some base. Okay, we know that when acids and bases react, they create a water and a salt. Very good. Okay, and take a look at this. When they react, you can see that boop, that pink is a sign that that base is happening there. Oh, but look, when I swirl it, it goes away. That means the base has gone away. That's because the acid and the base are reacting. And I'm going to take a few seconds here, and I'm going to react these guys until we have a situation a little like this, where, hey, look, that pink is no longer going away. That means that there is more base in here than acid. I have canceled out all of the acid. Now I could go the other way here, and I could add some acid back, and we should see that base go away. Okay? So what I'm looking for here is I'm trying to reach a very nice point where that we are at that equivalence, where the acid and the base are equal. Okay? I'm not getting it super great here. How do I know that? Well, because I'm getting a very dark pink. This tells me that there is way more base than there is acid. Ideally, what I'm looking for here is something a little bit more like this. A very, very, very pale pink. It might be even a little bit tricky to see. Let me put the clear liquid in next to it again. Hey, look at that super pale pink. You can see the clear liquid on the left and the pale pink on the right. This means that all of our acid has been canceled, but just barely. There's a teeny little bit of extra base. What I've got here is a little bit of an over titrate, and that's what happens when you do it with pipettes and not a nice burette. And you get kind of this nasty mess. This is why chemistry students usually at the end of their semester learn to fear the color dark pink. Sadly, you guys won't get that experience. But so, we're going to be taking a look at some more examples of how titrations can be used. The whole goal here is to find an unknown concentration. Ideally, you cancel it out perfectly. And then we can do some math and say like, oh, cancel out this, boom, I know the concentration of my acid. Why would somebody want to do this? Well, there's a lot of different things. Let's say that I want to figure out how much chlorine is in a water sample. I can test the amount of acidity that chlorine creates and be able to match it. If I'm making sour candy, that's usually made with malic acid. I can figure out exactly how much sour stuff I want to add to make my candy just perfect. So I don't get the tongue burning effect like I do with some of those super sour Skittles. But so, we have these methods in chemistry to help us identify things, right? A titration, a method of determining the concentration of an unknown acid using a base. And today you're going to be looking at some more examples of why we use titrations coming up. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Take a look at haiku, and I will see you guys in the next one.